Floyd Mayweather was on Pivot Podcast earlier this week, and when asked about NBA Youngboy and his relationship, he had this to say. Check out this clip.
That's the thing that people want to know, like, what is y'all relationship like? What's the dynamic between you and him?
We talk about investments and just growth, buying land. And what's crazy just out here in the world today, a lot of times, even like P. Diddy, I'm not going to speak bad about P. Diddy because he's still a black man. Mistakes happen. And I can't say if it is or it's not a mistake, but things happen in life. And P. Diddy business is P. Diddy business. It's not my job or anyone else's job to go on the internet and stump him and kick a man while he's down. My take on it is, it's not my business. I don't think it's right at all. And I don't condone it. Even if that happened to my daughter, I would be hurt. But that's a choice that my daughter made.
Yeah.
So I don't want to kick nobody while they're down.
I think the big thing, because I have girls too, is though.
No boys?
I have a boy too.
Okay.
Is one, if your son is in that position or your son is accused of those things that Diddy was accused of, like, I'm going to believe in my son and what he says, but I'm gonna check him about that. I'm gonna check him about whether or not these are things you've done. I'm also gonna check him about putting himself in those positions. And on the other side that we have to be very careful of, especially when talking about women, is that if those things are true, right? And some of the things are true,
yes.
That wasn't a decision they made, right? That's something that was done to them. And I wasn't in those rooms, so I can't cast aspersions on Diddy and say that he did it or he did do it or he's an evil man or he is. What I am saying is, if those things happen to those women, not
yes.
only is it not right, it's also not their fault.
Mm-hmm.
My thoughts exactly. Shout out to Ryan Clark for checking this fool respectfully, as you should. But hey, what else should we expect coming from someone with a history such as Mr. Mayweather's? Here I am praising this guy, admiring the bond he has with his grandson, thinking he's stepping up because, well, we all know the messy situation between NBA Youngboy and his daughter. But I went digging, and lo and behold, what did I find? Now let's tap into these clips as well.
But while Mayweather is adored by fight fans, there's a much darker side to his story. He's had a string of domestic violence, arrests, citations, and in 2010, an incident that landed him in prison. According to the police report, Mayweather grabbed the mother of his 3 children by the hair, punched her in the head several times, and threatened to kill her. This was all in front of his kids, who he also threatened to kill before one of them called the police. You recently made some comments on Ray Rice and how the NFL should have stuck to its original 2-game punishment. Then you backed off those comments. Can you just clarify for us what you really think?
Well, I spoke about that yesterday, so, I'll leave that in the past and try to focus on my future and try to focus on my fight Saturday, which is Maidana.
Well, okay, but you are someone with a history of domestic violence yourself. You've even been to jail for it. Why should fans root for you with this kind of history?
Everything has been allegations. Nothing has been proven, so, that's life.
Well, I mean, the incident you went to jail for, the mother of your 3 children did show some bruising, a concussion when she went to the hospital. It was your own kids who called the police, gave them a detailed description of the abuse. There's been documentation.
Mm-hmm. Once again, no pictures, just hearsay and allegations. And I signed a plea bargain, so once again, not true.
But the website Deadspin recently detailed 7 separate physical assaults on 5 different women that resulted in arrest or citation. I mean, are we really supposed to believe all these women are lying, including the incidents when there were witnesses, like your own kids?
Well, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. When it's all said and done, only God can judge me.
All right, well, we've seen this week with the outcry against the NFL, the public wants the domestic abuse problem in this country addressed. Would you consider donating any of the more than $30 million you're going to make this weekend to an organization that educates and prevents against abuse?
This weekend, what I will do is make sure that millions and millions of dollars be saved for my children, because My children are who I love, and that's what I care about.
It wasn't like it was just me and Floyd who got into it. My children saw it. It's very insensitive. You know, my son had to run out to go get help, and thank God that he made that decision at a really young age, because who knows how far it could have escalated if he had not ran out to go get help. I mean, one little accident, toss, bump head on the table. Yeah. There's so many accidents that happen that you may not mean to, you know, hurt somebody. You might be trying to just shake them up and scare them. Something accidentally happens and now you've got a death on your hand.
Today we filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles County Superior Court on behalf of Shantel Jackson against Floyd Mayweather Jr., whom I will call Mr. Mayweather. Shantel met Mr. Mayweather in July of 2006 when she was 21 years old. Before she met him, she had worked on and off as a model and actress and at other jobs since she was 15 years old. As a result of her work, she managed to buy her own house. Shantel met Mr. Mayweather when she was working at as a hostess in Atlanta, Georgia. He approached her. After numerous phone calls and dates, Shantel and Mayweather developed an intimate relationship. Before long, Mr. Mayweather prevailed upon Shantel to move to Las Vegas and cohabit with him in his residence there. Mr. Mayweather wanted Ms. Jackson to make herself available to him virtually at all times. At his direction, she turned down job offers that came her way and worked very infrequently during her relationship with Mr. Mayweather. Shantel fell deeply in love with Mr. Mayweather, and at one point, she and Mr. Mayweather became engaged. Ms. Jackson stood by Mr. Mayweather through a criminal proceeding, which resulted in the imposition of a 3-month jail term upon him for domestic violence against another woman. In August of 2012, he and Ms. Jackson had an argument. The lawsuit further alleges that during the argument, he assaulted her. Approximately 1 week later, Mayweather asked Ms. Jackson for her forgiveness and promised that he would never assault her again. And Ms. Jackson told Mr. Mayweather that she would leave him. The lawsuit alleges that Mr. Mayweather assaulted her and took her jewelry away from her. Ms. Jackson was terrified for her safety and humiliated by Mr. Mayweather's conduct. For a period of time after Ms. Jackson's personal property was taken, Mr. Mayweather kept her virtually a prisoner in his home. He maintained surveillance. She could only leave the house if she was accompanied by one of his employees.
So it appears Mayweather has a history of abusing women himself, and like mentioned in previous clips, his kids got to witness this behavior growing up, hence his daughter's poor choice in men. So hypothetically speaking, no, your daughter didn't make that choice. She's only choosing to repeat a cycle that she watched her mom endure and put up with for many years. She clearly has no positive role models or figures to tell her she deserves better or could do better because mom chose to settle being disrespected or treated like a punching bag. And clearly her dad is very egotistical while being insecure and feels it's okay to put his hands on these ladies because his money can make it all go away. Or again, because his money. Then to sit his black on that podcast and tell us that we're not going to disrespect Diddy because he's still a black man is just ignorant. What about the trauma caused to our black women who raise our black children up thinking this is normal? And I didn't put the full video, of course, on here for you guys because of copyright strikes, but in one of those videos, one of his ex mentioned that his father was abusive to his mother. So in Floyd's eyes, he feels that what he's doing is not wrong because it's what he feels to be normal. I think it's time we heal as people. I think it's time Mr. Mayweather seeks some sort of counseling. Each one teach one.
Regardless of that macho image they attempt to portray with the bodybuilding and the tattoos and whatever else they may promote to make themselves look like Mr. Macho, They really have an inherent weakness. They may also be weak as a man, and I'm talking about sexually. In order to compensate for this, they bring on this image of being Macho Man. It doesn't work. Most people can see through that, and it's sad because the only way they can manifest strength is to abuse another human being, typically that female closest to them. It doesn't take strength of character. In fact, it shows a weakness of character. It doesn't take strength of physical body. It takes strength of mind and character. So in effect, the Chinese proverb is correct. You are abusing yourself when you're abusing that person who is there for you and with you. And if that's the best you can do in your life, seek help, because you are not a complete man.
You cannot sit there and consider yourself a man, much less a king, if you are in any way abusing a woman or children.
And I know I inserted the clip of his baby mama getting physical with him at an event, but I did that so you guys could just elaborate on what it could have been like being raised up in a home through their children's eyes. So this could have been going on for years, like I said. And no, it's not okay for a woman to put her hands on a man, vice versa. Keep your hands to yourself. And I could dig and dive deeper into this topic, and there's so much more that can be said, that needs to be said, but I want to keep this video short and sweet for you guys. So like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and if you want to dive in a little bit more on this subject, let me know. But until next time, mwah.